So my name is Marzena Kordaczuk-Wąs. I'm representing Polish Platform for Homeland Security, and I have a great pleasure to be the coordinator of Indeed project which is focused on the preparation of the evidence-based model for evaluation of radicalization prevention and mitigation. And actually, today's webinar is proposed and organized by PPHS in the frame of Indeed project. And today, as I already mentioned, this is the third part of our webinar series, and today's meeting will be dedicated to the topic of evaluating of evidence-based preventive program. Before I start, I would like to just inform you that in the end of the webinar, my colleague Martyna, she will display the Slido with 3 questions. So we would like to ask you kindly to give us a few minutes to fill in the questions which you will see on the screen, and then you will have access to those to Slido through reading the QR code. So please be aware, my dear colleagues, that in the end we have this kind question, the request to you to help us answering the question. So I will start with just reminding that I have already mentioned that this is today's meeting is the third part of our events organized in the frame of Indeed project. During the first webinar in July, I spoke about designing the evidence-based practices on the basis of the example of a PPHS long-term comprehensive program called Understand, Respect. Then during the second event, I was focused on the formulating of the standardized assumptions of the mentioned preventive program. And today I will be focused on the process, the step actually, the one step of the designing and implementation of this described program, which is the evaluation. I will try to show you very briefly how we designed, how we prepared, how we planned the evaluation as a step is in the chain of the steps dedicated to the preparation, the designing of our long-term comprehensive program. So as I mentioned, as an example, I will use as previously the long-term comprehensive program, which is called Understand Respect, and this is the educational program to prevent radicalization, which can lead to discrimination and the hate speech. I will just mention briefly that for those colleagues who participated in the 2 previous events, that there will be a bit of repetition, but it's done by me per purpose, because I would like to show you how all elements described by me during our webinars. It means that all standardized elements of the preventive program, how they are connected and how evaluation is included in this compulsory step of the process of designing of a preventive program, and then also the complementary and compulsory step in this program implementation. So once more, I will use as an example our educational program, which we designed in PPHS as a long-term comprehensive preventive program. So once more, I will just shortly repeat, specifically for those people who didn't participate our previous events, what for us means this term long-term comprehensive program. So this is this kind of program for us as a preventive initiative is understood as a purposely programmed but also integrated initiative, which is based on the scientifically proven preventive strategies. And those strategies chosen for this particular program, they are aimed at stopping or at least reducing the diagnosed threat and by influencing realistic diagnosed causes. This is very important that we are talking, I will repeat it at least a few times, that for us the preventive program is not only focused on the diagnosis threat as such, but we are focused by the diagnosis also on the roots of the causes for which the specific threat occurred in our local environment. Because we are convinced, particularly I'm convinced as a person who is dealing with the preventive measures currently more than 20 years, that we have to be focused not only on the generally on the diagnosed threat, but we have to be focused in our preventive measures on the roots, on the causes why, because of what the particular threat occur in our local environment. Because only by the influencing of the roots we can reduce, we can mitigate this threat and or to prevent it in the future. So moreover, the preventive long-term comprehensive program is built on the basis of the standardized assumptions and the specific elements that have to be filled in to call the initiative as to treat initiative as a long-term comprehensive program. This program is responsive to community needs. It means that through the diagnosis of the local needs, we are preparing the long-term comprehensive program in line with those with the needs and the preferences of the clients. And in the structure of the preventive comprehensive program are included the risk factors detected, identified during the diagnosis, but also protective factors, which can help to reduce, to mitigate, or to prevent our diagnosed threat. And the very important is also that the long-term comprehensive program can be implemented at all three levels of the prevention. It means on the universal primary level, but also on the selective secondary level, and also on the tertiary level of the prevention, so-called indicative level of prevention. I also mentioned during our last two meetings that program Understand Respect was designed on the basis of the logical model. So I will repeat it once more because it's very, very important, as our program is evidence-based practice, and it's based on the scientifically proven results, but also it's grounded in this logical model which help us to design the program on the basis of the separated steps, but those steps are combined, and they are allowing us to go through all necessary elements of the designing of a preventive comprehensive program. So I will just very briefly remind that the logical model for us is a kind of the visual snapshot, which allow us to illustrate graphically the various stages of the preparation of the program. But so it means that it is going through all steps of designing of this program, and having this kind of illustration of the steps taken, and those which have to be taken. On the one hand, in illustrating and helping to see the whole process. But also this logical model allow us to see the relationships, how the steps of the preparation and implementation of the program, how they are combined, and how the steps influence each other. So it's also very important to mention that, because I use this term, the logical model, but in the literature, if you are more familiar with a dedicated literature, so you would see, you can see that a logical model is also named with other names which has with a similar concept. For example, this logical model can be called a plan, can be called a model of change, theory of operation, but also theory of change. The logical model and the constructing, designing the comprehensive program step by step on the basis of logical model also it allows to have it gives the authors of the program, but also implementers the kind of time for the reflection and also justification of the solutions which were proposed and designed and planned in the frame of this particular program. This model and this logical model also help us to explain why the specific preventive goals were formulated for the particular project, for the particular program, why we selected the specific preventive strategies, why we planned and decided to choose the specific preventive tasks. And logical model also allow us to describe the mechanism, the program assumptions and the mechanism of the operation and the methods of measuring the progress in achieving of the goals, preventive goals, which were planned and intended to be achieved in our program. The last thing, talking about the logical model, that designing the program and also implementing the program on the basis of logical model, it's also very helpful to monitor the progress of the program and to immediately detect the elements, the standardized elements of the program, which were inappropriately designed, or which were unrealistic or simply wrongly planned. And the last thing, it also helps the team of the implementers, the team of the partners, the partner entities, understand why we need to plan the specific elements in the program, and it also helps to reach a kind of consensus between the partners in the term of implementation of the task which we planned in the frame of the program, and also discuss the necessary changes which perhaps will be needed to be implemented during the duration of the program. Before going to the step of the evaluation, because evaluation, as I said, is in the beginning is one element of this logical model, because the evaluation is designed on the basis of the logical model as a one step of the preparation of the standardized elements of the program. But before going to and before showing you how the evaluation was planned and implemented in the frame of educational program Understand, Respect, I will go again briefly through the three main stages of our logical model of the designing of our educational program, because what we plan the first stages of the designing of our program affected also the way of planning of evaluation, but also the implementation of evaluation. So as I mentioned previously, the logical model of the preparation of our program was divided into three main stages. During the first stage, we prepared the theoretical background of the program. Then, after the preparation of this theoretical background, we could start the second stage of the preparation, which was dedicated to to conducting the diagnosis of the risk of radicalization at schools and also in the local environments in Poland. And then after the preparation and the implementation of the detailed diagnosis of the risk to which our program was dedicated, we could start the stage 3. It means we were able to develop the assumptions of our preventive program, which is aimed to prevent radicalization leading to discrimination and the hate speech. I'm telling about this because then of course each stage I will be going back again and again to and reminding that the program Understand Respect is based on the logical model, and then each mentioned stage of the preparation of this program and also its implementation was divided again in the main steps. So the stage first, it means preparation of theoretical background for the program, was divided into 3 steps. The first step allowed us to ground our program in the specific discipline of science. In our case, it was sociology. And then in the step 2, after choosing the sociology as a scientific background for the whole program, we were able to search to choose the specific concepts and paradigm which grounded our methods and grounded the selection of the methods and the techniques. And to create a methodological workshop for the whole program. So in the step number 3, we build a methodological workshop grounded, of course, in the sociology and then also influenced by the chosen concepts and the paradigm. And we prepared the methodological workshop, which was used during the preparation of the program. It means by the authors, going through steps dedicated to the preparation of the standardized assumptions of the program. But the same workshop was also used by the implementers of the programs, and very important from the perspective of our today's webinar, the same methodological workshop, it means the methods and the techniques were also used by the evaluators. So I went back to those stages of preparation of the program to show you that we need to think about the evaluation of the preventive program already on the stage of its preparation. It means on the stage of the designing of the program, because and only then we can call the program as a comprehensive. So then I also mentioned the last 2 webinars about the second stage in the form of the diagnosis of the risk of radicalization, which was combined by conducted by PPHS in 2021. Just very briefly today, but this is also very important to repeat it again, because diagnosis and the results of the detailed diagnosis of the risk to which our program is dedicated on the one hand, but also diagnosis which allowed us to to ask the potential participants, the recipients of the program, and also implementers of the program, what kind of elements we should include and how we should build, what kind of content we should build in our comprehensive program. So this stage dedicated to the detailed diagnosis of the risk is also very important from the perspective of evaluation, because at this stage allow us to think to design the standardized elements of the comprehensive program on the basis of the real local needs. Then in the stage number 3, after the implementation of the diagnosis and gathering the scientific material, we were able to start to design our comprehensive long-term program. I mentioned the last time that this program is the whole process of designing was divided into 13 steps. And I will not go through all those steps. However, I will just remind to our colleagues from the consortium participating in the previous 2 webinars, but just to very briefly inform the colleagues who didn't participate in the previous events, that the standardized components, standardized elements of our program, they are kind of set of the elements which in our opinion should be included in the structure of the program, and only then, if they are filled in, the program can be treated as a comprehensive program. And those standard components, they weren't just invented by BPHS, but we were focused on the elements which initially they were created and used by European Monitoring Center for Drug and Drug Addiction, EMCDDA, and then those components they were used initially for the assessment of the preventive programs prepared and implemented in the field related to the drug addiction. And then those standardized elements were also used and set and used by the Polish Center for Education Development. This is the entity in Poland which is dealing very professionally with the preventive measures designed and implemented by the Polish schools. And this center built a kind of recommendation system on the basis of those standards and the kind of criteria for assessing the quality of the preventive programs in the area of the health promotion. And on the basis of those standards and the criteria, they built a kind of recommendation system. And the programs prepared by schools and then assessed by Center for Education Development and fulfilling all criteria, they are put in the kind of database as a so-called recommended preventive programs. But as I mentioned, mainly in the area of mental health promotion. However, and myself, when I was preparing my PhD thesis and did a big survey related to the preventive measures designed and implemented by the Polish police, because I didn't mention, but I was serving for the Polish police for 18 years, and I was coordinating and implementing the preventive measures for and with the Polish police. So on the basis of this research, this survey, we decided in the Polish police to build in 2015. We decided to build the similar to use those assumptions, those criteria of the assessment, because we saw that if we will use those criteria already on the stage of the designing of the program, it will allow us to be sure that our long-term comprehensive program is based on the necessary elements, which allow us to be more efficient in the prevention and the mitigation of the diagnosis security threats. So I'm telling about this again because designing, the planning of evaluation is included into is actually the one of the steps in designing of the preventive program, and this is the one of those mentioned by me standard components, elements of the structure of the preventive program. So going through the designing of the program, during the last meeting, during the last webinar in July, I described them more in details. Today, only very briefly to show you again that the evaluation to show you and justify actually that thinking about the evaluation is already needed on the stage of designing of the program. Because during this process, we are going at this stage 3, dedicated to the designing of the standardized elements of the program, is again divided into the steps, as I mentioned, the 13 steps. So going one by one, in line with the logical model, we were able to design the general the general information about the program, description, and those steps actually were then they are creating the description of the assumptions of the program, which this description is very useful on the stage of the planning, but also on the implementation, and also on the stage of evaluation of the preventive program. So we were going step by step. Step 2 was dedicated to the description of the phenomenon which we identified during the diagnosis, and including the causes and the risk factors, what I already mentioned. Then, on the basis of the results of the diagnosis, we were able to formulate the proper target audience of our program, the level of prevention. On the basis of the results of the diagnosis, we were also able to adopt scientific theories and the preventive strategies which we included in our program. And we were able, because during the diagnosis we asked also the respondents also about the protective factors which should be included in our program. And then we were able to properly formulate the objectives and the indicators measuring the progress of the program. And this is already extra important a step of the designing of the program. Of course, all steps are very important. However, from the perspective of today's meeting, I will be mainly focused on the step 7, which was dedicated to the formulation of the objectives and the indicators which allow us to measure the progress of the program, because it means that this is already the first stage of the evaluation of the program, measuring the monitoring the implementation of the program, and then measuring the progress and of the program. It means the progress in achieving of the formulated goals, the objectives of our program. Then, on this basis, we were able to design the plan the preventive tasks, which are, of course, also very important from the perspective of the evaluation, because then we see on the basis of the tasks in this logical model, we can see very clearly what kind of tasks we planned in our program. It means what should be assessed, what should be evaluated in our program during the implementation, and also after the whole duration of the program. Then, in the next step, we were focused on the partner entities, and then on the schedule and the implementation methods, which are also important for the evaluation. And then in the next step, again, very important from the perspective of today's meeting, we were going through all previous stages. We were finally able to be focused in details on the ways and days of evaluation. In our program, we were focused on the three types of evaluation, starting from the beginning, from the stage of the designing through implementation, and being focused on the end of the implementation of the program. So we went through formative evaluation, through the evaluation of the process, and also on the evaluation of the results of our program. In the step and the following steps, like we were also focused on the sources of information about the program, and of course the program's expenditure. It means the costs and the resources for the program implementation. They are very important. However, as I said, today I will be focused on those on the step 7 and the step 11. It means the starting with the objectives and the indicators, measuring the progress of the program, and the ways and the ways of evaluation. So, as I mentioned and already repeat a few times, thinking about the evaluation, we have to be designing our preventive program. We have to be aware that without the proper formulation of the objectives for our program, and also thinking on the stage of the designing about the indicators which will help us to measure the progress of the program, it's not possible to plan the proper evaluation of the program. In general, it's not possible to design the effective program, but today we are focused on evaluation, so I will be more talking from the perspective of evaluation. So in our program, in a program Understand Respect, also the creation, the formulation of the objectives, the process of formulation of the objectives was focused also on the results from the diagnosis implemented in the local environments. And on the other hand, also on this logical model. It means that the all small steps taken during the designing were also divided. They were creating the whole chain of the small steps, but building logical chain, resulting in the proper formulation of our objectives. So we took into consideration the leading scientific theories, which were taken into consideration during the designing of our program. We went through the leading preventive strategies chosen by us. We were focused on the preventive factors because our program is grounded, as I said previously, in the so-called positive prophylaxis. So we are talking not only about the risk, about the causes of the risk, about the risk factors leading to this risk, but we are very much focused on the protective factors, strengthening the resilience against the radicalization leading to the discrimination and the hate speech. Then, during this process of formulating of the objectives, we were also focused on the risk factors, which can be mitigated by the protective factors, and then, of course, on the diagnosed problems. Diagnosed problems, it means the manifestations of the radicalization leading to discrimination and the hate speech which occur in the Polish schools and the local environments. They occur in the schools, at the schools, and in local environments. We know it thanks to the scientific diagnoses which were implemented by PPHS. And then you can see on the slide, it's more like it's showing more this logical model of the building of the objectives. So on the left side you see the diagnosed problem, then the risk factors that can lead to those diagnosed problems, then the protective factors, which were of course, they resulted from the diagnosis, and then in the right column you can see the goals. In our case, we had the one main goal: the promotion of the behavior free from all forms of the radicalism, discrimination, and the hate speech. Because I said that our program is focused on the positive prophylaxis. It means that we are not talking in our program that the main goal is preventing of the specific risk, but we are focused on the promotion of the behaviors that are free from all forms of identified risks. And then we had 4 specific goals, specific objectives of the implementation of which allow us to achieve the main goal of the main objective of our program. I'm showing you this and talking quite a lot about the objectives because, as I mentioned, on the stage of the designing of the program, the proper formulation of the objectives is very important. Because it already show us and indicates what kind of evaluation and how and when we will be evaluating the progress of our program, but also results of our program. So on the slide, I mentioned already that on this stage we were focused on the formulation of the objectives, but also very important part of this stage of the designing of the program is to formulate the indicators that will allow to check, to assess if we achieve our goals fully, or maybe partially, or maybe we didn't achieve our preventive objectives. So they are very important, both objectives and the proper indicators adopted to assess the achievement of those objectives. So on this stage, we have to, from the perspective of evaluation, we already have to think on this stage that the objectives of our program has to be strictly related to the diagnosed problems, but also to our risk factors, also to our protective factors, and also grounded in the theories and preventive strategies which we decided to choose to our program. So this is why I showed you that when we were creating, when we were formulating those objectives and indicators on the basis of this logical model, we put them into the table, which allow us to see all the necessary stages, the necessary steps that we have to go through to properly formulate our objectives. They have to be realistic, and they have to be really realistically and properly formulated. I'm repeating it because it seems to be very obvious. However, actually currently I'm dealing with the preventive measures more than 20 years, and I see that even if it's very obvious, it's not so easy to do it in practice. And very often objectives of the programs are not properly formulated. It means that they are not really related to the risk that should be influenced by our program, or they are not realistic. So it's simply not possible to achieve them. So this stage of designing of the program is very important already from the perspective of evaluation, because we have to formulate those objectives, as I said, which will be connected to our risk, and they also will be realistic to achieve them. And then on this basis we can, and they have to be, very important thing from the perspective of evaluation, they have to be possible to be measured. So this is also very important, seems to be very obvious. However, very often in the preventive programs, the wording used for the formulation of the objective, the verbs used for the formulation of the objectives are already on the early stage. They are simply not possible to be measured. What does it mean? It means that we cannot find the proper indicators that would allow us to check, to assess if we are achieving our goals during the implementation of the program and during the evaluation of the program results. So this is very important, that they have to be also measurable. And then when they are properly formulated, we are not only able, but it's needed, on this stage it's also needed to be very much focused on the indicators that have to be adopted for the implementation of the program, and indicators that will allow us to check if we are achieving our objectives. So this is already the element of evaluation. In the table on the slide, you will see how we did it in our the designing our program Understand, Respect. So on the slide you see the main goal, which is the promotion of the behavior free from all forms of radicalism, discrimination, and the hate speech. And then in the second column already you see the indicators which were adopted by us for the pilot implementation of our program. However, they will be also extended for the core implementation of the program. So you see what are the indicators? Indicators are simply speaking, they are the numbers or the percentage. It can be also percentage. The specific numbers that have to be they can be measured. They can be counted during the implementation of evaluation. So in our case, we indicated what kind of tasks we have and what kind of results we want to achieve during the implementation of the program. I put this red circle around during the program because this is the indication of the timing already when our evaluation has to be implemented. During the program shows that it will be the evaluation which is dedicated to the monitoring of the implementation of the program. It means it will be that those indicators set here, they will be used during the evaluation of the progress of our program. So this is a very important information already for the planning of our the planning and also conducting the evaluation. Then on the following column, you see the evaluation procedure and also the research method. And in the last column, you see the technique and tools that will be used during the evaluation. So during the assessment of the achieving of our goals, preventive goals, it means during our evaluation. It's very important to remind you that what I said in the beginning, that those evaluation procedures, it means the research methods and also the techniques and the tools, they were already set, they were already described in the description of the during the process on the building the methodological workshop on the stage 3 of our of the stage of one of our program. It means building the scientific background for the designing and the implementation of our program. So as you can see, though, all elements of the logical model, they are strictly connected to each other, because on this stage it wasn't needed to think again about the methodological workshop, what should be used for the evaluation purposes, but it was already prepared, proposed, And then it was, on the one hand, easier to plan them for the purpose of evaluation, and at the on the other hand, using the evaluation procedure, the research method, also techniques and the tools make the whole program comprehensive. So the same mechanism was used for all our objectives. It means that on the previous slide you saw the main goal, but the same mechanism was dedicated to all 4 operational objectives. The only difference is that here in the specific goal you also see that not only during the program we will conduct 3 2-hour educational classes. We will have 30 teachers participating in our tasks. 90 students, 90 parents, which are the indicators, because it will be easier. The indicators of the of achieving of our goals. It means that during the evaluation procedure, we were just counting, the how many participants we had during our events. But here on this slide, you also see that there is already the element which indicates us that this particular element will be assessed, will be measured in the end of the program. So they are the elements, the objectives, and also indicators that they will be taken into consideration during the evaluation of the results of the program. So on the one slide, you see the elements which will be checked, which will be assessed during on the one hand during the program. It means during the evaluation of the progress, and also at the end of the program. So it means they will be the integral part of the evaluation of the results of our program. And the same mechanism on the 2 right columns, you have evaluation procedure, the research method, and also techniques and the tools that will be used during this assessment process. It means during the evaluation. The same with the second operational goal, and exactly the same mechanism with during the designing the fourth operational goal. And then on the basis of this step, of course, you saw that it was the step 7. So we were going through the other steps of the designing of our program. But then in the step 11, when we had the objectives, when we had already the indicators, but when we had already the preventive tasks, it means all actions which were taken, proposed to the schools, it means to the teachers, to the pupils, to the parents, it means the recipients of our program. And then we were ready in step 11 to design, to formulate, to be more focused in details on the ways, and also, of course, the dates of evaluation. I already mentioned that we are focused. We designed and provided the 3 types of evaluation: formative evaluation, and the evaluation of the process and the results. But once more, I will repeat that a proper planning of our evaluation was only possible because of the going through all the previous steps of our logical model. So all the previous steps, they were connected, and they were logically connected, and they combined in the one process, logical and efficient process. So on the basis, once more, on the basis of the properly formulated objectives, then adopted indicators, going through the planned activities, and then we were able to be focused on the proper planning of evaluation. So once more, you see that the designing, the planning of evaluation is the one of the steps in the logical model of the preparation of the comprehensive long-term program, and one of so-called standardized assumptions elements of this program. So I mentioned that in the program Understand Respect, we are actually not were, but we were and we are, because currently we finalized the pilot implementation of this program, and then we will be working on the going through the all assumptions of the program, and we will check if something in the assumption has to be reformulated before the proper long-term implementation of the program. But yeah, so on the slide you see the table with all three types of evaluation. For us, the formative evaluation is a kind of the assessment of the correctness of our program assumptions, and this evaluation is related is related to the kind of check if the all planned tasks and also the all assumptions of our program were properly designed. So actually this formative evaluation in the case of our program Understand Respect was divided again into two phases, two steps, let's say, because we use this formative evaluation just in the beginning, in the formulation of the assumptions of our program. It means after the description of all assumptions of our program. It means after the building the proposal. We consulted this proposal with the school, with the teachers, but also with the council of parents in the school where the pilot implementation of this program was planned. So actually we already discussed with the teachers the assumptions of the program, that just to check if from the perspective of the school the all assumptions of our program are realistic and they are correct and they are possible to be implemented in this particular school. So it was the first stage of the formative evaluation, and then we did it as authors and also as a implementing team. And then the part of formative evaluation was also conducted by the external evaluator, because in our program for the rest of evaluation we invited to the program the external evaluation to be responsible for the detailed planning on the basis, of course, what was planned in the assumptions of our program. Then the details of the conduction of the evaluation was planned by the external evaluator. So the second part of formative evaluation was conducted by this external evaluator, who also checked once more the assumptions of the program and all activities, all tasks which were planned in the description of the program. And that there's in this part of evaluation what also included the discussion of the potential changes, if any, are needed, and or maybe additions to the assumptions of the program. So so this area was assessed during the formative evaluation, and as a methods and the test techniques, again, taken from our methodological workshop already prepared in the beginning of the designing of the program, and based in the sociology and the social sciences, which were the ground, for our program. And the main methods and the techniques were planned. So, so this formative evaluation was conducted in the form of the consultation with the implementing team. It means with us, with the PPHS, myself and my colleagues, about 5 my colleagues who implemented the preventive tasks planned in the frame of this program. and also with the consultation with the school representatives, pedagogical council, and the parent council, and the discussions also with the pupils, with the students attending in the implementation of the program. And then we were also focused in our program, as I already showed you during this, the describing the stage of the preparation of the objectives, that we were very much focused on the evaluation of the process, in this evaluation, from this perspective, the area which were assessed was related to the implementation of the monitoring of the implementation of the program. So during this pilot implementation, which took place in our case from the October 2021 till the end of the June 2022. So this pilot implementation is, in our case, as such, used as a so-called the formative evaluation, the assumption of the program. But during this pilot implementation, of course, we were also conducting the process evaluation. It means actually not us as a team of implementers, but I already mentioned about the external evaluator who was responsible for the preparation of the detailed plan of the evaluation, and of course on the basis, once more I will repeat, on the basis of what was described in our program, but the detailed information were the detailed plan of evaluation was designed and implemented by the external evaluator, who was the professor from one of Polish universities, the university in Krakow. And the process evaluation in our case, as I said, it was the ongoing monitoring process during the whole duration of the pilot implementation, and checking the implementation, the effectiveness, and also if the prepared tasks were correct, and if they were properly implemented, and what kind of impact not kind of impact, because it will be in the end, but on what stage the achieving of all set preventive objectives we were during the implementation of the program. So we were checking what you saw in the table with the objectives and the indicators. There was the information that during the implementation of the program. So then during the implementation of the program, it means that it was the process of it was the evaluation of the process evaluation, then the monitoring of the implementation of the tasks planned in the program. And this evaluation was dedicated to checking if the formulated goals were already partially or fully, it depends on our plans, achieved during the implementation of the pilot version of the program. And then in the column dedicated to methods and the test techniques, you see evaluation survey, and you see the face-to-face interviews, the analysis of the degree of the achievement of the indicators measuring the progress of the program, and also the examination, the analysis of the documents, all documents related to the program implementation, like a report on the implementation of completed tasks. Again, those methods and the techniques, the same as in the case of the formative evaluation, they were deriving from the methodological workshop designed on the first stage of the preparation of the program, during the building the scientific theoretical background for our whole program. And then we had also after the pilot implementation of our program, Understand Respect, we had also the evaluation of the results So this is the integral part of our evaluation process in our program. And this kind of evaluation was dedicated to the assessment of the achievement of all assumed preventive goals, assumed, planned, predicted in our program. On the one hand, we were focused on the achieving of our goals, but at the same time, this evaluation was also dedicated to the gathering the information on the opinion about the program by the recipients. It means the students, parents, and the teachers attending the program, but also the implementers. We, as a PPHS team, the team of implementers, we were also our opinion were also collected on this stage of evaluation. So again, methods and the techniques, again, the same like in the case of the process evaluation and the formative evaluation, they were deriving from our general methodological workshop. And for the purpose of evaluation of the results, the external evaluator used the analysis of the degree of the achievement of the indicators. Again, those indicators which allow to measure the progress of the program, also the survey, the examination of the documents, and also the part of the evaluation of results were the face-to-face interviews. So this is now that there is the information from because we already received the report from the evaluation, from the external evaluation. As I mentioned, the implementation of the program Understand and Respect was between pilot implementation treated as a part of the formative evaluation, was implemented between the October and June October 2021 and June 2022. We already received the evaluation. The evaluation, which was generally carried out by the means of the diagnostic survey and the technique of an evaluation questionnaire addressed to the students, and also categorized interviews addressed to the teachers and the parents. On the slide, you can see the evaluation criteria. So the external evaluator was focused on the relevance of the topic taken into consideration during the designing and the implementation of our program. So despite of the diagnosis, which was already described by me, which was conducted by PPHS, and on the basis which we build our preventive program, the detailed diagnosis of the risk of radicalization leading to discrimination and the hate speech which occur in the Polish schools and the local environments. So again, this relevance of this topic was again checked, assessed by external evaluator, who was focused on the goals of our program. She checked if the goals were related to the plans, and if the methods adopted for the implementation of the program were adequate to the challenges which were diagnosed. And then among the evaluation criteria was, of course, also the effectiveness of the program. So evaluator checked if the methods used in the program, the preventive tasks and the methods and the actions, if they were effective. But also the elements like the professional, the skills, the competences of the implementing team, and also this element of the evaluation allow evaluator to check if any kind of internal or maybe external factors had an impact on the implementation of the program. Additional evaluation criteria was dedicated to the program efficiency. So on this, in this part of evaluation, the evaluator checked what was the relationship between the outlays, all aspects, the human, administrative, the time constraints, the financial elements, with the effects which we achieved during the implementation of this pilot version of our program. And then also utility was checked as an evaluation criterion. What were the effects? Maybe the planned, which were already integrated in the description of our program, but maybe also occurred the unplanned effects. And their relation to the social and economic challenges, and also coherence, the internal and the external coherence, and the permanence of the transferred knowledge were among the evaluation criteria conducted by the external evaluator. And then again, I will not go in details through all the evaluation research methods and the techniques and the tools, but on the slide, you see detailed study areas in which this external evaluation was conducted. So there was the diagnosis analysis. Again, this diagnosis conducted by PPHS was also assessed and checked by the external evaluator. They were also the comparative analysis of the strategy, but also the goals and the methods of the program implementation checked by external evaluator. There was the research related to the assessing if our program really met the needs of the recipients, of the beneficiaries, because I mentioned that we were very much focused to design the evidence-based practice. It means the program which is scientifically grounded, which is based on the needs of the local environment by diagnosis, the occurring security threat, but also the third element of evidence-based practice is related to the needs of the recipients, of the clients. So we were very much focused to design the really tailor-made long-term comprehensive program. So the external evaluator also checked if our program really met the needs of the recipients. There was also the research research assessing the level of the fulfillment of the needs, of the recipients, and the other part was dedicated to the level of the satisfaction of the from the attending in our program. And yeah, so I will not go through all the method and the techniques and the tools, because again, as I already mentioned, they were grounded in the methodological workshop which was created in the description of the program. However, those methods and the techniques and the research tools, they were detailed by the external evaluator in line with the study areas, with the evaluation criteria planned in details by the external evaluator. However, I will repeat once more that all details were prepared, planned by the external evaluator. However, still they were grounded in our methodological workshop. It was needed to make them comprehensive with the assumptions of our program, understand, respect. So with this information, I will finish my presentation, and I would like to thank you for your attention.